Hello everybody, Briefcase here bringing you another ESP North American in-house. Of course, no names on these teams. It does not look like Crayon Pop, so Yell is in the house with all of his lovelies running around with a team name all of his own. But nonetheless, going to be hopefully a very good, very even game. Of course, every single time an in-house is played, they try to balance them as best they can, so it's not a one-sided stomp, and usually it ends up pretty nicely when it comes right down to it. So far though, we have an early Naga ban. Usually, especially in these in-houses, you see Naga actually getting picked up as the first pick rather than the first ban, so maybe they're just getting a little bit fed up. Always playing Naga. Interesting to see that, honestly, when it comes right down to it. Has made it through so many times, and usually they do ban out that Batrider, and I think this is exactly what's going to happen when you don't have that Naga available. You do have Batrider, of course, you're going to pick up that Batrider whenever you can. The Dire team has banned OD as well as Troll Warlord, of course. Troll Warlord used very nicely by WizBiz in the past, and overall has been, at least in my experience casting these games, invaluable in winning those mids, and overall it's just very scary. So good in the early game. OD, of course, is getting banned out. Have not seen OD played too much in the ESP community, mostly because he is just such a nuisance to lane against and dominates pretty much any of those popular intelligence mids and can have just a field day pretty much the entire time. The Radiant team did ban out an Abaddon as well, banning out supports more or less first, and now picking up a Batrider. There's still a lot of very strong heroes in the pool. Usually Batrider's nowhere near to be seen, but no, picking up a Timbersaw of all things, of course, can be run as an off lane if that's how they want to play it, but can also be run as a mid. But of course, Batrider's such a very good mid hero or a jungle hero. He's so good at filling many roles. The Dire team, though, has picked up an Elder Titan as well as a Nyx Assassin. Both of these heroes, of course, kind of middle of the farm heroes, can be both run as a support and can both do fairly well in the mid on their own. Elder Titan's Spirit, of course, gives him that extra little bit of punch when it comes to last hitting and can really sway it in his favor if he has a bottle available pretty much from the get-go. The Radiant team now banning out Darkseer as well as Anti-Mage, really getting rid of most of those utility heroes. You don't want Abaddon or Naga or Darkseer going up against you, and that's, I mean, who now does the Dire team have to pick? They've picked up an Elder Titan and a Nyx Assassin, of course, as their kind of supports and utility heroes, which I think are overall will probably pan out fairly well for them so far. Radiant team has banned out an Anti-Mage as well. Looks like they want to limit exactly who the Dire will have at their disposal for their carries, though. They have picked up a Weaver now as well, which right at the moment, Batrider can be a huge nuisance for Weaver. Of course, Lasso, a very strong disable, very good at bursting people down with those, very good at bursting people down and just harassing people with that sticky napalm and firefly. So Weaver might be in a little bit of trouble here. Of course, Timbersaw can burst Weaver down if they ever do get him locked down in any way, and of course Batrider will provide that amount of disable to just guarantee that happening. The Dire team has banned out Visage as well as Nature's Prophet as well. Two very, of course, strong heroes, very popular in the meta nowadays. Visage is pretty much everybody's favorite aggressive tri-lane partner simply because of Soul Assumption is so strong, and as soon as you get 6, you can be so useful for your team using those familiars as long as you have the micro ability to really make use of them. Gyrocopter now, though, has been picked up by the Radiant team. Would love to see a support Gyro, one who goes Ags, in fact. Probably not gonna. Gyro has almost been exclusively a carry since the pro scene started picking him up and using him that way. So overall, it looks like the Radiant team has quite a bit of AoE at the moment. Of course, Timbersaw very good with Chakram, with his Whirling Death, what have you. Batrider can do Firefly very well, and Gyrocopter, of course, is an AoE machine. The Dire team, though, did pick up a Rubik of their own. So far, some very good spells to steal. Of course, Firefly absolutely terrifying on Rubik. Getting Timber Chain as Rubik is absolutely lovely as well, not to mention a Chakram. And Gyrocopter has some very strong skills to steal as well, and most of these skills are not going to be targeting solely Rubik like usually you see when an Enigma has a black hole. He makes sure that Rubik is caught out so that as soon as that black hole is done, he can maledict or that sort of thing. But Batrider's not going to want to use up his Flaming Lasso on Rubik. It'll be such a waste. Of course, with Weaver in this game, you really do need to use as much crowd control and as many stuns and disables as you possibly can on Weaver just to take him down. Timbersaw will be able to burst him down quite effectively, at least pre-6, and probably even later on, seeing as just how glass cannony Weaver is when it comes right down to it. Now, the Radiant team has picked up a Shadow Demon, of course, very good at ganking. No really strong heroes to disrupt beyond the obvious initial initiation, but still very strong coming from this Shadow Demon. He's probably going to be setting up a whole lot of ganks, and at the moment, that'll give them even more disable available to them. Of course, the Dire team disable is very strong as well. You can never underestimate Elder Titan's not only aura, but his Echo Stomp, his sleep, can be the entire difference in a team fight. Just sleeping people for 4 seconds straight can be so invaluable when it comes right down to it. Dire team has banned out Leshrax, trying to limit those carries even more, or no, not those carries, trying to limit those supports even more. Of course, Timbersaw needs some amount of farm to really be useful. Gyrocopter will be run as a carry, I suspect. Batrider is good. That's all you need to say about him. He finds his farm no matter what happens. He is pretty much a rock in every game and is always a constant. Shadow Demon, though, they might look to get one more support, and of course Batrider will provide a lot of utility, so interested to see exactly who they will pick up. The Radiant team has banned out Alchemist. Now, trying to limit exactly who the Dire team will pick up as a carry. I hope Elder Titan gets to carry. Would absolutely love to see that. Get those giant 5-man Ancestral Spirits, throw in a Chrysalis or a Daedalus there. Ooh, baby, are you getting some big crits. And that's what I would love to see. But overall, I mean, Lifestealer is still in the pool and wouldn't be a terrible pickup right now. Of course, Batrider's ult will go through Rage, making it a little bit more difficult than they'd intend, and that might be exactly why they haven't picked up Lifestealer yet. But of course, Timbersaw absolutely, I mean, he doesn't die to Lifestealer, but can't burst Lifestealer down too effectively. All of his spells, of course, are pure damage, but that does not go through magic immunity. Gyrocopter will be a bit of a problem for him, of course, with that Flak Cannon. And I believe, does Shadow Demon's Demonic Purge actually purge Rage? If that's the case, then that is a guaranteed reason why they are not picking up Lifestealer. They are running out of time, though, down to 47 seconds at the moment, so probably still trying to pick up exactly what sort of carry they want to go for. They do have a pretty good ganking lineup, if need be. Of course, Nyx, Assassin, and Weaver picking up a Bloodseeker now. Did not see this coming. None of the heroes, except Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon is particularly squishy. I was going to say, none of the Radiant heroes particularly squishy for this Bloodseeker to really go in and wreck them. But of course, Bloodseeker now with this, what is it, Blood Rage, I believe, with Blood Rage available and at level 6, not even level 6, at level 3 of Blood Rage, you can actually keep somebody silenced permanently, simply because the cooldown and duration is the exact same time, and some very good heroes to actually do that. I think Bloodseeker, a very good pickup, especially against Timbersaw, of course. HP removal of Rupture works very well when Timber's trying to get away with Timber Chain, and all you have to do is Blood Rage Timbersaw, and he's pretty much out of luck. I mean, he's not going to be getting away, and if he happens to, if you can get a Rupture off on him, I mean, ooh, baby, you are in the money when it comes right down to it. So I think overall a fairly good pickup. Elder Titan now might be relegated, not to mid. Of course, Bloodseeker can play a very strong mid, but against Batrider, I kind of doubt it when it comes right down to it. He can, if you have fairly good last hitting as Bloodseeker, though, you have a huge amount of lane sustain. But now Lina being picked up by the Radiant side. I wonder if Lina will go mid. Last time I played, there was this one fella, I can't remember his name exactly, but he was loving his Lina mid, and it did pan out for him, I must say. So now, interested to see exactly how these lineups are going to go. Of course, Lina with Shadow Demon, and Gyrocopter is a very scary tri-lane. Of course, Shadow Demon sets up that Lina stun. Gyrocopter's Rocket Barrage at such a low level does so much damage for its level and will just absolutely melt anybody who's there. So if Weaver is thrown into the off lane against this sort of aggressive tri lane, if they have wards, that will probably be the end of him. Of course, Sakuchi can get him out of there sometimes if they need him to, but that might be really, really bad for him when it comes right down to it. And now, who is playing who? You have your mother playing as, looks like a carry Bloodseeker, more likely than not. We have Chris now as the Weaver. Caboose, who used to be a tryout not too long ago. Now he's actually ESP with a little star. Caboose has actually joined the guild or clan, whatever you want to say. Good job, Caboose. Splendid Daddy is playing the Elder Titan, and Penguin will be following up with that Nyx Assassin, that support-looking Nyx. Maybe even Nyx is going off lane. He has picked up a couple of Observer wards. They might be going for some sort of aggressive try and in the bottom anyways, or maybe defensive try. Hard to say exactly who they're going to be accompanied by. Of course, Caboose's telekinesis along with this impale can be very, very scary, and Elder Titan can actually do quite a bit of damage early on as well. So interested to see exactly how that's gonna play out. Looks like a little bit of connectivity issues or something not going too well for, I can't remember who it was. Oh no, what's the matter? I hope we don't have to restart this one by any means. In the meantime though, let's get let's get GLaDOS in there, and yeah, let's get GLaDOS as the announcer while we wait. Why not? It's been a little while. Weaver actually does okay against Timber, of course. If he opts to get 2 points in reactive armor, he's gonna be absolutely loving it. So interested to see exactly who's gonna be going where, and it does indeed look like Timbersaw is actually gonna go mid instead of Batrider. Batrider looks like he has been thrown a little bit of extra regen, and he's gonna be going top lane. So we have Alpha now as the Batrider, Lefty Alessandra as Timbersaw, and it looks like this aggressive tri-lane bot with Gyrocopter, Team Question Mark, who is a tryout indeed, as well as Monkeus. They should be having a pretty good time if they do indeed pick up any sentry wards here. They have picked up those sentry wards, just trying to guarantee not only kills, but that this pull camp right here will actually be able to be used. And Weaver Chris is probably going to have a very, very scary time down here, especially if Monkeus can land those Light Strike arrays properly. And if Finne is there to follow up with those, as long as Chris can't get a nice Sakuchi out, because I'm fairly certain that Rocket Barrage doesn't actually apply. Oh no, Chris, you might be getting harassed a little bit. Of course, he has not skilled into Sakuchi yet if he needs to be. Just trying to see who is around there. And it looks like aggressive try versus aggressive try. Chris will get this double damage, however, might give him a little bit of extra help. And it looks like he is going to be rotating mid just to give Bloodseeker, your mother, that early advantage maybe. No, it looks like maybe they're saying no to that. You do have Caboose as well as Penguin here just to back up in case they want to, and I think that they might indeed be using this. I'm not entirely sure, but no, now indeed, they weren't sure exactly where the solo lane was going to be. It's Batrider top, Alpha, of course, with that extra pooled regen, and now Chris has the double damage. It's not going to last by the time they get there, and now the both tri lanes will be facing off in the bottom, of course. The top tri lane will be rotating down here just to guarantee it. And though, I mean, this Radiant tri-lane will have a little bit of extra experience, but nothing too bad when it comes right down to it. And I think Chris will actually have a fairly good lane against Batrider. Batrider still hasn't skilled up Sticky Napalm. Usually you do want to see that. Of course, Weaver can. Both of these, of course, very, very good targets to have a magic stick on, especially for Weaver. He should really be picking that up with his first amount of basically 200 gold, and he should already have a magic stick when it comes right down to it. And let's get some last hits up here. It looks now like, of course, your mother up against this Timbersaw. Timber, if he does get more into reactive armor, he will be doing okay, but he's already so low on regen. Your mother has barely used it. He is able to last hit it, and oh my word, that was quick. I just did not expect that to happen whatsoever. Missing first bloods like a scrub. So sorry, everybody. Oh my word. It looks like Splendid Daddy was getting harassed quite a little bit down there. Not too much to be really, really worried about when it comes right down to it. And Penguin was forced to go all the way home. Was that because he died? Looks like he did indeed die. So 1 kill for the Weaver, a solo kill at that. But I mean, Gyrocopter, of course, flexing those muscles, showing just how strong Rocket Barrage is. And now Caboose completely caught out. Telekinesis is not going to be good enough. They missed the stun, however. Caboose will still fall. Cannot deny himself. A little bit of cheeky play there, it seems. But overall, it was not quite strong enough. And now this very scary, aggressive tri-lane is basically dominating these lanes, of course. I don't actually think that this sentry right here... Let me click on you. It's not giving me that sentry vision that I want ever so much. Nonetheless, things going very much in favor of this aggressive try down here. Gyro, of course, has been farming. Not too much, though, however. And now Alessandra Lefty will have to be a little bit worried about your mother getting that farm, getting those last hits. He has picked up an illusion rune, or not an invisibility rune on this bottle, so he should be fairly safe pretty much for the entirety of him having that. And it looks like a little bit of tit for tat going on up here. Still no magic stick yet by either of these two heroes, of course. Something that would have been very strong. And now looks like Finn is throwing out those flat cannons, getting that little bit of harass on pretty much everybody he can. And it looks like, oh, this entire tri-lane still leveled 1 except for... Oh my word, I just keep never seeing these. I'm so sorry. It looks like Alpha just getting outplayed a little bit by Chris. Still no magic wand. Should really be picking those up, though. Of course, both of those heroes so good. Probably wouldn't have died that many times. And now Batrider might be just giving up on that top lane. Considering he's already fed 2 solo kills of this Weaver, he's 2 levels ahead of him, and now he's probably gonna be farming in the jungle, trying to get that Blink Dagger and recoup his losses. But now the creep wave is fairly close to where their tower, and that's exactly where they want it to be. But of course, Monkeys is stack pulling, and that's gonna just bring it all the way back home for them. Oh, I get to draw on everything. It's absolutely lovely. And as far as the mid goes, though, it looks like Timbersaw is going to be picking up another double. He's going to be picking up another rune. Bloodseeker not even trying for them, opting to just stay back and get as much farm as humanly possible. It looks like Caboose as well as Penguin were not there in time to actually contest it. And now throwing out the Spirit, just trying to get as much damage as he possibly can. Looks like he's going to be getting a little bit of damage on those. Of course, a very good idea. Will make it a little bit tougher. And now Timbersaw looks like he wants to harass your mother down a little bit. Has popped the double damage rune. That should give him some fairly good lane control. But Chris has complete and utter free farm top. And he is going to be, at least the longer this game goes on, he's going to start getting very scary. Especially if you don't contest it. Alpha looks like he's just going to be trying to get to his level 6, is stacking as best he can, and that's exactly what you want to be doing as Batrider. You stack up these hard camps, throw out a ton of sticky napalm, and then you just throw a Firefly down and farm them all up. Lefty, though, is being able to harass your mother down, but of course, with Bloodbath, it makes it very difficult to actually keep Bloodseeker out of lane, and because now of this creep equilibrium being right here, it looks like Splendid Daddy, the not free farming, but the safe farming, I hope, carry Elder Titan. Looks like he's doing not too bad. He's got 11, he's only got half of the Gyrocopter, but he has been zoned out fairly hard. Just getting a lot of damage now, added damage from that Ancestral Spirit, having pretty much a DD rune at his disposal now. Has picked up a Flask, of course, or a Healing Salve, I should say. I think it was Flask in Dota 1, Warcraft 3, not 100% sure. But now Bloodseeker, though, he has teleported to this tier 2. It looks like they're trying to set up a gank, and rightly so. Right around the 6-minute mark, you have a lot of sentries as well as observers falling down, and this is a perfect time. Of course, that night vision now as well. Your mother is here to try and set up those ruptures, but this tri-lane knows it. They're hiding in the trees. Of course, you're going to want that Ancestral Spirit to scout out. He just does not have the mana, though. Chris is going on to Alpha. He pops the Firefly, just trying to get away. Chris is running after him. Looks like he is getting a lot of burn damage, though. Is he going to be able to get him with Geminator attack? It doesn't look like it. And Chris now, using too much of his mana, does not have time-lapse available. Gets the kill, however. Does not have enough there. Pops it. Goes to Power Tread's Intelligence and tries to get that just tries to get that time lapse, realizing it probably wouldn't have saved them though, and of course Timbersaw though, Lefty right there just to do the damage that he needed. Now it looks like Timbersaw will pick up an Arcane Boots that's going to make life a lot easier for him, and of course it looks like this a failed gank by your mother. They have gone bot, of course they're pulling these lanes, they're doing some damage, they will get some good tower damage here. It looks like rather than saying, you know what, that was a failed gank attempt, we are just, they say, we're gonna go for this tower. We're gonna get as much damage on it as possible, and then we're probably gonna go for that dive. There's the scout with Ancestral Spirit that'll provide them a little bit of goodness. It looks like team does not want to run out of here. A little bit of damage going down. Lena does get the kill on Rubik. Bloodseeker gets it on Shadow Demon, however. Looks like your mother a little bit caught out. Everybody falling. So far, a 2-for-1 trade. 2 supports for 1. That is not what you want to see happen. Not one bit. Now Chris, though, has rotated bot. Of course, Sakuchi's so good at dealing with Rocket Barrage. The tower was destroyed by the creep, so not going too bad. Your mother, of course, does get monkeys. He has a stun and Dragon Slave available. Will fall, however, not doing too much. And Chris does indeed get a gyrocopter kill as well. And that engagement going slightly, I shouldn't say slightly, going pretty heavily in favor of the Dire team there. Of course, losing out on your gyrocopter, losing out on, what was it, 3 or 2 supports. So I think the difference was there that this Dire team was able to pick off that carry, and that's exactly what you want to see happen. And now your mother will just be running mid, just to get that farm again. Of course, Shadow Demon does not want to get caught out here. Looks like Timbersaw did disconnect there, but he's back into the game. Your mother's here. He sees this low health Batrider getting the rupture on him. He is absolutely gonna fall. Actually kills himself. Might have been able to stay alive. Probably not if he had just sat still. But now Penguin is here as well. You have to be careful here, Finn. He's not going to be able to do the damage. Of course, Rupture is on cooldown. But it looks like Chris still just farming in whatever lane he can possibly find. It looks like Lefty is going for Splendid Daddy. There is no Earth Splitter available. Who is rotating top? It is making your mother quite a bit faster now. Of course, he can see him, but nobody is there to actually rotate. They do land a stun disruption combo. Rocket Barrage, the creeps were there. If they hadn't been, that might have gone a little bit differently, but not the case one bit. It looks like Penguin is gonna salve up his buddy Splendid Daddy, and Chris is looking to get some solo kills here. Of course, time lapse is available. He is throwing out some very nice bugs. Monkeys does not want to be there, missing out on the stun. However, Chris always has time lapse available, though. He gets lassoed. Will he be able to time lapse out of this? He pops his wand, pops the time lapse. Sakuchi's away. Does he want to go for this courier? It might be a free one. He's trying to get the kill on Monkeyus. Geminate attack is not enough, though, and Monkey is just barely getting away. Of course, Chris, though, is picking up that easy kill on Shadow Demon. He's got to want to run away, though. Lefty is here. Of course, one Timber Chain will get him. It now looks like Finn will probably fall to your mother, who has picked up this Blade Mail. Is he going to be able to do enough damage? Chris has gotten away. As you can see, your mother, though, picking up an easy double for himself, and now things going very nicely in favor of this Dire team. 3,000 plus gold and experience in their favor, and now Bloodseeker is going to be so difficult to actually take down. You might have to use Batrider's Lasso just to kill this Bloodseeker now, with Rupture as well as Blade Mail. I've seen this in a few games. You really need a certain lineup to be going up against for that to really work. And of course, with someone like Firefly as Batrider, you Firefly away, you just stand in it and use that Blade Mail, you'll get yourself the kill. Of course, with somebody like Gyro, he Rocket Barrage, that's some really main strong defense this early in the game. As you try to go gank him as a melee hero, he'll just Rocket Barrage and absolutely wreck you. So of course, that's going to work very well with Blade Mail as well. And if you can time it well, Lena not so much. Of course, you do want to reflect those Laguna Blades, but it's not the best case scenario. But still very good heroes to use this Blade Mail up against. And of course, Timbersaw will pretty much never burst you down this early on when you have Blade Mail available. But now Rupture, of course, is up there. He does have enough to cast Blade Mail Rupture as well as a Blood Rage, and that's going to be so scary. Caboose wants to lift this guy up. Will he get it? He does indeed. Looks like Alpha will fall. Your mother does pop the Blade Mail. Are they going to go for team? I don't know. If these bugs do latch, maybe not, though. They do not yet as of right now. Now, Lefty looks like he's rotating around, trying to see if he can't help a little bit. And now this Radiant team will be looking to re-engage. They don't have their very good initiator in Batrider, but of course no blink yet up on him. Only has a Tranquils and one Ironwood branch. at this late stage. I wouldn't say late stage in the game, but 11 minutes to only have Tranks as a bat is not what you want to see happen. Your mother, though, does have a rocket coming his way. It's only level 1? I want to say only level 1. Yeah, that's usually what you go for a homing missile. And now, just trying to get those last hits, and this is the part that is so hard to actually do when you're dealing with Bloodseeker. All he has to do is get a few last hits, and he's already back up to full health. Has to be very cautious here, however. Does not have Rupture available. Still has Blade Mail, so can man fight one-on-one if need be. But now it looks like Alpha is just trying to farm up a little bit. He is so far behind what he wants to be. And this just has to be a terrible place to be when you are a Batrider. If we look at these net worths, of course, Weaver with his complete and utter free farm pretty much all game, he is doing fine at 5,000. Bloodseeker has gotten quite a few kills. Weaver as well, however, though. Little surprised that he's actually behind Bloodseeker. And now Chris is here trying to get a little bit of damage. Caboose will fall. He's not going to be able to go away from here. But can Chris get a nice kill on Monkeys? He does have time lapse. He's falling so quick, though. Chakram there is there to help clean it up. Your mother, though, gets the easy Rupture on Alpha. He's going for these kills. That's 2 of them. Chris actually buys back, ports in, uses up that wand. Some nice kills, however. Has gotten a double kill. Bloodseeker does fall. Chris might be able to get away. I think so. Has gotten a disruption. Can a Chakram be thrown out? It is going to be doing a lot. It's not quite enough. Soul Catchered as well. And looks like Chris might be able to get away with these Sakuchis unless some brilliant Timber Chains and guessing happen. But oh well, that's all happening. Splendid Daddy is top with his urn, just trying to farm, put a little bit of pressure on this tower. Monkey is popping that smoke to pretty much no effect here, sadly. And is still only level 5. No Laguna Blade yet for this Lina. And if you look at team, he is just so poor. Only brown boots and some wards. How's the enemy Rubik doing his counterpart? The exact same setup. And so scary to be in this Radiant team's, in this position at the moment. Timbersaw, the only one cracking 4,000. Really even cracking like 3,200 on this Radiant team. And you really want your Gyro quite a bit more farmed than now. He can do quite a bit already with Phase Boots, as well as Call Down and Flat Cannon this early, and can really harass in a big AoE. But I mean, that's not as much farm as you want a Gyro to have at this stage in the game. Now, Your Mother looks like he is rotating down into these jungles, just trying to see exactly who he can pick off. If anybody's jungling, he knows that Batrider is here. Pretty much exclusively trying to get that Blink Dagger. And it looks like Shadow Demon knows that he's here. They think that he's here at the very least. Caboose is coming to join his buddy. It does have an Invis Rune on him right now, and they might get some nice catchouts. Of course, they need to realize that things are not going to go their way. Monkeys, though, is he going to get this done? He does indeed. Can even Dragon Slave, of course, and Disruption on your buddy is the right move there. Your Mother, though, getting caught out by that lasso. Monkey is just barely living at the moment, and that is a nice pick-offs for this Radiant team, getting that Bloodseeker as well as the Rubik for completely and utterly free. Nice play, nice counter initiations there by Alpha, running in, getting those flaming lassos, and of course, Shadow Demon with that money disruption on Monkey, saving his life completely and utterly. But Chris is farming top pretty much completely and freely, and he's doing a lot of damage to this tower with these creeps. Looks like Lefty is here just in time to really stop that from getting too out of hand. But still, I mean, constant pressure by Chris. This is what Weaver is so good at. Of course, just sticking in lane, you have to commit at least 2 heroes to really kill him, unless you have some sort of ungodly good farm advantage or disable on your hero. And you really need to dedicate a huge amount of resources just to deal with this one Weaver, and that is exactly what he wants him to do. I think that they know that he's here. They don't see him, though. Looks like he's trying to get some nice kills, though. T.O. is here trying to get a disruption down. A sentry does go down. He does get the Geminate attack, though, on Shadow Demon. And now he is time-lapsing away. He does not have a TP at his disposal, but he is going to be able to get away. Absolutely nothing coming from that. And now has Alpha picked up that Blink Dagger yet? He will be picking it up now. I suspect he has just enough gold at the moment. Has to be wary, of course, of this Bloodseeker. 1 kill. I don't know if it'd be enough to actually make him lose his Blink Dagger right now, but there it is. Has picked it up. Now just has to wait a little bit. And now, are they going to be rotating bot to try and get this Bloodseeker a nice Blade Mail being picked up by Timbersaw as well. Of course, does Blade Mail actually work on... I know it doesn't work on Blade Mail. Does it work on Rupture? It might, in fact, because it is just damage. Monkey is still not level 6. A Disruption now being cast on to your mother. Does not quite have the damage yet on Monkeyus to get that thirst passive, making him all that much faster. And with that, things might have gone his way. Might have gotten an extra little bit of a kill there, but overall, just could not eke out that damage to get thirst going. If we look at the net worth, however, we still see that this Gyro is so far behind these carries on the opposing team. I suppose Bloodseeker as well as Weaver being far more of a carry. Splendid Daddy going from way more utility items. Most likely going to be turning this Ring of Health into a pipe with the amount of, I suppose it'll block a call down, a little bit of a Laguna Blade. They do have enough damage, and now it looks like they are going for this initiation. Alpha whiffs the blink though, can't get the lasso off in time, and that's where shift queuing really does come in handy. Maybe realizing that the rest of his team was a little bit too far back while he was up here. The rest of his team was right around here. That's quite a stretch, especially when you're going up against a Bloodseeker with Blade Mail. And maybe just saying, you know what, this is not a good fight. Let's not do this. Elder Titan opted to get no points in Echo Slam, no points in his ult at all yet. And now it looks like they might be trying to go and get a gank on this Chris. Do they have any detection available? This missile is going to be running after him, and he has to Sakuchi when that missile is going to hit him. Of course, I think, does it actually stun him? Does it do anything? Does it stun him? Well, it doesn't even Sakuchi anyway. Just thinking it's not even worth his mana. Not that it really matters. Now it looks like this Dire team are going into the jungle, trying to get some nice pickoffs. They do have a smoke, of course. Vendetta is being used, and they are a very good ganking trio at the moment. And now that smoke is going to run off on your mother right here. Monkeyus, though, getting cut out. Poor Monkeyus, though. And he will fall. The call down now on 3. Only 2. Your mother, though, is falling. Did not have enough time to use that Blade Mail. Finay getting the kill on Caboose. Not going to be enough to Penguin now, and that's a 3-for-1. Your carry 2 supports for 1 support, and that is not what you want to see happen one bit. And if we look at this, these engagements are going in favor of the Radiant team lately, but still, it's still pretty much in favor of this Dire team. But the Radiant team, I think that their team fight might just be a little bit better. Alpha, though, is getting caught out by that Split Earth, and he has opted to get 1 point in that now. Might want to be going Echo Stomp at some point. Of course, very good at initiating, and that's something that, that this Dire team actually needs really badly. A single Rupture on a hero is not going to be enough to really make a team quake in fear, and won't be enough to really start team fights. You need that Echo Stomp into Split Earth to really get things going your way. And if you do have that available, that'll give Caboose, of course, all the time in the world to pick and choose whatever spell he steals. So, of course, that is a very strong combo to do off, and kind of interested he has opted to get Natural Order over Echo Stomp. Of course, they really need that team initiation, but I suppose now that team fights are really going to start happening, we're past the laning phase, way past the laning phase, kind of the ganking team fight stage now of this game. He does have time to actually start picking up Echo Stomp levels, so interested to see exactly how he's going to be building himself. They do not have a smoke, just grouping up, not sure why, not really getting a lot done with their time. I'm sure that they want to actually stack this, but of course not at the moment. They see him coming here. Of course, this ward just put down. They see to Penguin, and they're probably going to set up a nice counter gank if available. Not so much, though. Caboose does throw down a sentry of his own, and just dewarding that scent. Not going to be enough, though, of course. Just barely out of range. That Observer ward, of course, if it was here, might have been actually in range, but I'm not sure if that's actually the case. Usually when you put it down, I think it forces it to go right about there. So we'll see how it goes. Chris is, of course, farming top. Not to mention getting a lot of damage. Has the Lincolns now, and that's going to make life so much harder for this Alpha. Even Fireflied into Blink, into Lasso, and just wasn't enough. They need to land an additional targetable spell on him just to make that happen. Disruption, of course, a very good one. Demonic Purge will work in a pinch as well, but beyond that, that Lincoln's, of course, not too many skills that it's going to block, but it's going to block the big ones. It's going to be blocking Lasso pretty much consistently. Your mother now going for Finay. Of course, he doesn't want to actually use Rocket Barrage here with that Blade Mail active, and now your mother, there's Thirst fading on him. They don't want to chase after this. They don't have Flaming Lasso available. If they did, that might have gone a little differently. It looks like Timbersaw did teleport away from the bot, sensing a gank happening, maybe just feeling a little bit uneasy. And now it looks like these 3 heroes bot might be going in and trying to get a little bit of damage on this tower, just giving Chris all the space in the world to farm up. And if we look at the farm charts, or I should say the net worth chart, this Weaver, this Chris, is farming very, very nicely. And now actually getting quite a bit of damage on this tower as well. Of course, those bugs, so annoying for creeps to deal with. They spend a lot of time hacking at those bugs. Chris just can't get this tower off of him. And of course, that Lincoln Sphere gonna be great at stopping this Batrider from initiating. He really wants this tower. He's pretty much dedicated to getting it. And there is no deny by Alpha. Might have wanted to run in with Firefly, maybe go for that lasso and really just scare him a bit. But now getting some damage on this bottom tower as well. This Dire team is split pushing. And of course, GLaDOS unhappy about everything that's going on all the time. Team now looks like he's gonna want to go for this stack, but he can't. Penguin has scouted him out. They don't have a sentry. They do have one right here, so they need to see Penguin is running around. Of course, that is exactly why Alpha is backing off. Your mother is running in, has actually quite a bit running in with that blink, but getting completely caught out. Stuns are not stacked perfectly. Alpha will fall, however, and now your mother running around as best he can. He's opting to use Blood Rage on himself just to try and get that damage. It looks like Weaver did get a nice Shadow Demon kill as well. Lefty was doing enough damage, however, to pick off this Rubik, and now Chris needs to be a little bit careful. He has time lapse, cannot fight against Lefty. There is a lovely use of Lincoln Sphere, but Chris will fall. He's not getting away from this. Your mother might have ran in and got a Blood Rage off on Lefty, something along those lines, but not going to happen. Have you been hit by this Ancestral Spirit yet, Monkeys? You have now, and that is a lot of damage for him to go up against. Bloodseeker might have wanted to wait there, see if he couldn't get that easy kill, since now, of course, he does have vision, but suppose was maybe a little bit fearful of this Gyrocopter. Does have, of course, Blade Mail available to him pretty much all the time. And now, just farming up the enemy jungle a little bit, has picked up a Basher, and of course, that's going to make his chasing so much easier for him. Now, a little bit of a lull, everybody just realizing that they're a little bit scared to go even into their jungle. This Radiant team, of course, does not want to go up against your mother. He has all the mana, and Timbersaw, of course, with Blade Mail, can be do pretty well against him, but your mother is pretty much exclusively looking for this Alpha, and he's trying to shut him down pretty much as best he can. And all he has to do that is throw out a Rupture, run after him, chase him, and as soon as Alpha tries to Firefly away, you pop that Blade Mail, sit in that fire, even go in and just try and get him with those bashes, and you should be doing fine, just fine. Splendid Daddy stacking as best he can, is getting, using that just to get that camp as well, giving him some nice damage just to burst it down. It looks like your mother really wants to go for these kills. He needs to be so wary here, though. Of course, the majority of this Radiant team is down here. The only one not here is Gyro, and now completely out of position. Of course, he can be so quick. Blade Mail doing the damage it wants to, but it's not going to be enough. And looks like Monkey is timing that nicely, so it did not fall. Caboose now going to fall as well. This is when you realize that Bloodseeker is just going to die. Just leave him there to finish. Leave him there to get melted by this team. Now, things going in favor of the Radiant, but, I mean, these graphs are saying completely otherwise. Chris, of course, has had free farm pretty much all game, and that's really where it's coming down to. With this 10,000 net worth, pretty much completely uncontested, has died a few times, I should say, but Timbersaw has gotten that 7 kills, died 0 times, and he's doing absolutely lovely. He is porting bot now, trying to harass Chris a little bit, has actually opted to get Rod of Atos. Of course, will make crippling people very well, and I think that's actually what happened to this Bloodseeker. He was so slow at some point during that gank, or during that time he did die, that things were just not going his way. And I think Rod of Atos actually a very good pickup by Timbersaw. Will let him have the extra bit of health to really make this Blade Mail viable, and so far has not been want for mana. He's been doing a-okay, and when it comes right down to it, at the moment, this Dire team does not have a huge amount of burst available. Chris sort of has burst when it comes right down to it. Alpha's Firefly is on cooldown. Chris might be able to pick up a nice solo kill here as well. Oh, gets a blink, was not able to actually do the damage. It looks like Sakuchi just missing out there, sadly. And of course, though, your mother did have vision of him, I think, at the moment. He is underneath 40%, or he was. His thirst 40 visibility was indeed 50, so he should have had vision there. Maybe Chris should have just gone for that extra little throw out of an attack. Try and get those Geminates, throw a swarm on him, and that would have been a guaranteed no blink forever. And now it looks like they're just going to be going for this Roche, of course. Splendid Daddy is nowhere near them, however, and you really do want that Pipe of Insight, not to mention Echo Stomp available to counter-initiate if that's the case. Alpha knows what's happening, though. He does have Blink, Firefly, and Flaming Lasso available, and it's going to be very close. Of course, it looks like Roshan will fall to the Dire team. He might be able to snipe this. No, it does indeed go to the Dire. Your mother picks it up, does not get the last hit, though, so he is going to be low on health here. An Echo Stomp going to nowhere. Chris trying to get the damage. That Lincoln's already popped. So much damage going. It looks like Nick's already falling. Shadow Demon has fallen as well. That Aegis already popped as well. Caboose barely getting away. Not so much. Gyro has something to say about that with those little flat cannon beads. Your mother, though, just melting everybody, getting those last hits, getting those kills. And now he wants to go for Alpha. Has been A-toast, however, and now he is still running. But with these low health, he is going to be getting everybody. Looks like team will fall to Chris as well. And will Alpha be able to get away? I don't see it. Does have Blink available. Your mother, Rupture not available yet. It looks like this Ancestral Spirit is chasing him down. Does do the damage. Can't quite get him, though. And something that is actually a little bit odd for me is that Elder Titan has actually opted to get a second point in Earth Splitter, where all it really does is make it so that slow is a little bit better and that slow lasts a little bit longer. And overall, usually when I'm thinking of getting anything putting points for Elder Titan's builds, you get up that Echo Stomp way sooner. Of course, every extra second of sleep can just be so invaluable when it comes right down to it. So now Elder Titan trying to just scout out a little bit with that spirit, see what's going on. Of course, your mother now is, of course, using Blood Rage on himself, making him do so much damage and can be absolutely terrifying. That tower now just barely within deny range. It looks like Elder Titan has been lassoed. He's not going to be having a good time. Everything being used on him, though. And now that gives Chris pretty much free range just to run here and do a lot of damage. These supports going in, they don't have the damage here. Monkey is guessing incorrectly. Chris has been dusted. Demonic Purged as well. Looks like your mother, though, is getting those ruptures down. Not to mention Blood Raging himself and doing so much damage. And now things swinging even more in favor of this Dire team. They are having a lovely time. What is that, 350 damage as Bloodseeker, those hits. There's the GG, however, Lefty calling it, was not able to carry his team as Timbersaw, sadly. So thanks everybody for watching. This has been Briefcase bringing you another ESP In-House North American edition. Yeah, that's not bad. Thanks for watching.